Man, I thought I'd never finish the DPS builds. I mean, I'm not really done, considering I have to redo some of them after the patch, and every patch after that, but you know. For now, we're starting Alacrity. And we're starting with one that I think is genuinely underrated, Alacrity Tempest. Now, some of that may be down to the currently somewhat low benchmark, but hey, that's getting buffed. And the other part might be that there is a general perception of Elementalists that it's particularly difficult and frail, when really, this build is not really either of those things. At least not in particular. Granted, it is not exactly slow. Your Alacrity comes from overloads and doesn't last very long, which means it requires more active maintenance than something like the very simple Alacrity Mechanist. But the loop in itself is not that hard once you get into the rhythm. Cycling between fire and earth to get your overloads more or less as often as possible. The benchmark does take a detour through air and uses burning speed, but both of those add quite a bit of complication for somewhat limited payoff. Seriously, why did they think making burning speed stop at the target was a good idea? The magic number for boon duration on this one is 57%. That is the minimum you have to hit in total. But I'd recommend taking at least a little bit more to prevent you from dropping uptime, especially at the start of the fight. Luckily, this is particularly easy to do because this is one of the only raid builds where it's not just functional to take Celestial, it's even optimal. Celestial has all the condition stats and quite a bit of boon duration, and you still make really good use of the power stats due to the hybrid damage nature of fire attunement. You can even use the healing power thanks to water attunement. In terms of boons, you obviously primarily cover Alacrity, but also full mud uptime and protection, making you compatible with any quickness healer that does Fury, which right now is, I think, everyone except Scrapper. There are ways to add Fury to this build, but they're a little bit janky. Vigor is possible too. For other forms of utility, you do have CC, though it's not amazing, and quite respectable healing, which is fairly unique for a DPS support. You also have a very good res trait, general boon extension, and Condi Cleanse. You can also slot in Aegis and Stability / an AoE stun break from your shouts, as well as a subgroup-wide Get Out of Death Free card, and more condition removal than you could ever possibly need. In terms of defense, I mean, you're encouraged to run Celestial. You're not gonna get a whole lot tankier than that. Plus, you have quite a bit of potential emergency healing and defensive utility. And you get increased damage reduction from protection through the Tempest miners. You can also try to make the Arcane Shield trait work if you don't mind losing the res. As I said, I think this build is rather underrated, and with the upcoming damage buff, I would say it's pretty well positioned. So yeah,